scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize. Which side are you?
Hello.
Which side are you?
Armadillo.
Welcome to Remarks Podcast. I'm your host, Phoebe Featherbottom.
And I'm Taylor.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't do that the whole time.
I can't. I'm not very good really accents in general, but I can do a pretty good Southern accent, actually. That's like the only one I'm good at.
That's fun.
Get a little Southern drawl to your accent.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But this is Remarks.
This is Remarks, and I'm Phoebe. My last name is not Featherbottom. You all probably know what my last name is by now.
If you're not, literally look for 30 seconds on the internet. Yeah. I'm sure you can figure it out. It ain't that hard.
Dox me, 4chan.
Do it. I fucking dare you.
I dare you.
What? Were you going to say something?
Did you see my expectant breath? I was just going to say sorry for the, missing episodes that we've had recently. My precious doggy that you all know and love, she has cancer, and so I've just been kind of dealing with that and getting her treatment and everything. So I apologize for the, kind of back and forthness that we've been with the last, couple of weeks here. But hopefully we should be back, and I should be on top of things and everything. But that's what's going on. She's doing okay thus far, though. So things are okay right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure y'all understand. And we, unfortunately, too, we're not professional full-time podcasters. So I think we're professional level, personally.
I think we're the best of any podcast.
But we do also have to work jobs and stuff, and then having that on top of all that stuff you have to do is
exactly
a lot. So I understand.
Yeah. So but thanks for being loyal fans and not attacking us when we don't post episodes.
Very true.
Not even saying anything, honestly. Just
no one
letting it slide.
So
no one noticed.
I'd like to think
I'm sure they did.
I'd like to think they just listened to the same episode 2 weeks in a row and were like, wow, so informative.
Yeah.
Because it's just packed full of so much information.
Yeah, that the second listen through, you pick up other things.
It's like a movie. It's
exactly.
a really good
It's
movie.
like Inception,
Yeah, you gotta watch it a few times to fully grasp the concept.
Not everyone's on our intelligence level, so I get it.
It's true. It's so true. So this episode is Remarks, the podcast, is sponsored by Getting Naked.
Absolutely.
And also the drink.
Yes. Naked juices. Drink them because you assume that they're good for you, and nobody tell me if they're not, because I'm in my naked juice era, and I'm feeling really good about myself, so I don't want to have that shattered.
Yeah, don't if they're not good for us, don't say a goddamn thing.
Because they're really yummy, and it also there's it tells you it's there's half a mango, there's half a banana, there's a whole apple in here, and so I'm holy shit, that's so much fruit.
What the fuck?
It's so much fruits and vitamins. So
true.
Yeah, I don't want to know if that's actually a bunch of sugar or something.
So true.
Do not tell me.
For sure. Well, I guess we'll get into it here today.
Let's do it. We're talking about the royal family, innit?
In it.
In it.
In it, indeed. And specifically, good old Queen Elizabeth II.
May the devil burn her soul.
Truly, she sucks. And she sucks in just the way that most rich people suck.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's particularly committed any atrocities, on mass levels,
Yeah.
At least her personally.
By her hand, yeah. I don't know that she actually herself went and murdered a bunch of Africans.
Or even made the calls or anything. Because again, and we'll get into it here, but I think it's just her being the figurehead of a system that has done that for centuries,
Yeah.
It's enough to be you kind of suck.
Mm-hmm.
So, Princess Elizabeth of York was born April 21st, 1926, as the child of the Duke and Duchess of York, who would later be King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. She was educated privately because rich people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, first off, she would never go to like some fucking public gross
Absolutely
state
not.
school. But also she was probably like educated at Buckingham Palace. Well, I don't know where. I mean, I assume probably at Buckingham Palace when her parents, became king and queen, because
She had a tutor.
you're a princess. Of course you get, Excuse me. She began taking on public duties during the Second World War in the Auxiliary Territorial Services in February of 1945. This was the women's arm of the British military from 1938 to 1949 is when it existed. So I'm guessing it was just like a lot of aid stuff because sexism. Like women couldn't serve in the military, but they could
I see
do
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like doing aid and maybe intelligence type things. But VE Day or Victory Europe Day was May 8th of 1945, meaning she only served for a few months. And she was very young at the time. She was 19 when all that happened.
God damn.
Yeah. So
This bitch
crazy.
old.
She was fucking old, dude.
So old.
Old is fucking shit.
Yeah.
In November of 1947, she married Philip Mountbatten, or no, Mountbatten is his name.
Philip Mountbatten.
The former prince of Greece and Denmark. I don't know how he was both. I'm sure there's some connection.
Yeah, that's interesting. But okay.
They had met.
I don't know how all this fucking monarchy shit works. It's so weird and crazy.
Confusing as hell. Reading through, because usually what I'll do, a little behind the scenes action for you listeners, is I will go to a Wikipedia article and I'll read through the Wikipedia article, get my notes down, and then I'll follow the sources on the Wikipedia article to other sources to find out more specific information, because usually it's just a general thing, which I think is a good way to use Wikipedia, for the general info to get more information off of.
Yeah, I think Wikipedia, not to interrupt you, I feel like a Wikipedia article is good because it gives you, as long as it's on something that's pretty widely researched, it's not going to be completely inaccurate, and it gives you just a good overview, and you're okay, cool, I have a grasp. Let me go find all this other shit.
Exactly, yeah.
But please,
which is nice. No, I agree. Because I feel like Wikipedia gets kind of a bad rap sometimes.
It does. And honestly, lay off, you guys.
Wikipedia is a good service and a good thing to have.
It's the people's encyclopedia.
Donate $10.
Yeah. Oh, poor Wikipedia. Every time it comes up and it's please don't scroll past this. And I'm whoop.
Sorry, y'all. I truly should
as well.
Donate the amount of time I spend on Wikipedia. I really should donate $10 to Wikipedia. Anyway, so the two had met a few times and began exchanging letters when Elizabeth was only 13 and Philip was 18.
Oh, here we go. Great.
Yeah.
Good.
I know there was a different time, of course, but it was deaths a little weird.
Yeah.
And also they're second cousins once removed. I mean, that's...
Yeah, that too.
And I don't know,
It's giving Targaryen.
It's giving... Just like Game of Thrones.
Oh my god.
It's, yeah, I don't know, how... I don't know, what the fucking second and third cousins, all that shit means.
Yeah,
but,
I don't either.
So I don't know, how far apart that is,
Regardless,
just kind of weird, yeah. Maybe find someone else. Maybe rich people shouldn't exist so that they don't feel the need to do incest to
That's
keep
true.
their weird bloodline alive or some shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, they didn't get married. So they were married in 1947, but that was after she had turned 18, obviously, because she was 19 in 1945 when the war ended. So she was 21 at this point when they actually got married.
Got it.
But again, they did start talking and exchanging letters when she was 13.
Yikes.
So kind of weird, huh? Yeah.
That's weird.
A little weird.
That's very weird.
When her father died in 1952, she became queen of the 7 independent Commonwealth, or at least of 7 of the independent Commonwealth countries. I was a little confused on exactly what the Commonwealth country was and is. And as far as I can tell, a Commonwealth is more of an alliance at this point in history rather than somewhere she necessarily controls completely.
Right.
And obviously, like, we'll get into, you know, what the queen and like what the royalty like actually does, which isn't much, by the way. But at this point, especially, like, it's mostly just like an alliance that happens, and like you're just like, oh, I'm aligned, you know, like I'm aligned with Britain, and we, you know, maybe have the fucking queen on our money or something, like,
right.
like, I don't know, that's like, yeah. But so that's basically what it is. The queen does to this day stay or hold the title as the head of state for some countries. I think it's easy to forget how recently Britain actually ruled the world. So here are some numbers for you from the queen's lifetime. So again,
awesome.
Within like how long she's been in power.
I think it was 70 years.
70. That makes sense because I think she took the throne 1952. So like in 52 or 53, which would be about 70 years.
Yep.
So at the time of her death, the queen was technically, again, like air quotes, the leader of the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Grenada, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Tuvalu, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Belize, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Kitts and Nevis.
Jesus.
Are all ones that are like, she was technically still considered like the head of state, or they were within the Commonwealth, you know?
Mm-hmm. I always forget about Australia.
Yeah, no, and Australia loves her, apparently. Like, they were juiced as fuck on Queen Elizabeth II.
Crazy.
They were stoked. And all I'm saying is that, you know, who probably wouldn't have been juiced on Queen Elizabeth II? This is not an ad pivot. The emus. The emus.
Oh, absolutely. No, the emus would have fucked her up,
yeah,
bro.
dude. They should. I'm telling you, the emus should be in control of Australia right now.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. So going on with that, some former ones that she was the head of at one point in her life until they either got their independence or, you know, whatever they decolonized, were South, Pakistan, Kalen, Guyana, Nigeria, Sierra, Tanganyika, Trinidad, Uganda, Kenya, Malawi, Malta, the Gambia, Guyana, sorry if I'm butchering these names, Barbados, Mauritius, and Fiji. So those are all ones that are no longer, but were at some point in her lifetime.
So a lot of African countries and islands.
Yeah, which like is crazy because I don't recall the British ever going there or ever having anything to do with Africa.
Not at all. No, certainly didn't cause like massive amounts of death or anything like
Definitely
that.
didn't change the entire trajectory of a continent of people.
Yeah, not at all.
Woo. So yeah, I just think it's like easy to forget that though the queen only holds like ceremonial titles at this point, she is in fact a ruler and somebody who has power for pretty much nothing more than just the family that she was born into. Mm-hmm. When Elizabeth became queen, she decided to keep her regal name, I guess what they call it, because girl boss.
Oh, la-ti-da.
I know. This made her Elizabeth II, which apparently offended many Scots because she was the first Queen Elizabeth to them. Something like that.
Okay.
Honestly, there was a lot going on here, so I didn't have time to look too into that. But so maybe another time I'll go into the Scots. Philip, the Queen's hubby, wanted to change the royal family to his name because obviously.
Right.
But Elizabeth said nah. And Philip was quoted stating, "I am the only man in the country not allowed to give his name to his children."
Fuck you.
Because he's being a little whiny bitch boy about it. I'm like, you're still so rich, dude. Like, chill the fuck out.
You know what that move was of her?
What?
Mother.
It's so mother. Go off, queen.
Literally.
Her coronation was the first to be televised across the nation, and per her request, her gown was embroidered with florals of all the Commonwealth countries. It took place on June 2nd, 1953. And again, it's kind of hard because, like, part of me is like, you know, it's like a little symbolic, like, I love all these countries that I'm in control of. But at the same time, again, at this point, 1953, a lot of like the Commonwealth countries, like, they're not really like, it's honestly, at some points too, it's actually better for them because they'll get aid from the UK. And they like don't have to pay taxes to like the United Kingdoms, but that of course is like on a country to country basis. But sometimes they will get aid for being part of like the Commonwealth, so it can be good in some ways. Elizabeth's younger sister Mary fell in love with a divorced man named Peter Townsend, who was 15 years her senior. Big trend going on here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But also, this is just like the 1960s, so
yeah.
Lots of pedophilia going on.
True. Oh, well, and isn't there still?
Isn't there still?
Wow.
Love it. She requested permission from Elizabeth, who of course was like the queen to be, to marry before she was 25, to this man who was divorced. Big issue there.
Oh, because they're hella Catholic.
They're actually they're the Church of England.
Oh, yeah.
Which, so I was a little confused because apparently, because it's, so yeah, she asked Elizabeth to be 25. Elizabeth asked them to wait a year. Her secretary was quoted saying, "The queen was naturally sympathetic towards the princess, but I think she hoped, given time, the affair would peter out." And it seems like Elizabeth felt bad for her sister. It was also not appropriate in the Church of England to marry a divorced man.
Okay.
Eventually, Princess Mary moved on and chose the crown over Townsend. But so what I was saying is, like, I'm pretty sure if I got my history right, and I didn't research this, don't quote me, listeners, but I'm pretty sure that like King Henry, whatever the fuck number, like created the Church of England so that he could get divorced.
Yes, I think you're correct.
But so I'm like, maybe it was just like a thing because she's like a woman, like marrying a divorced man.
Yeah.
If like that would have been the issue, or maybe it's because like the church, like she was like royalty, so she had to like uphold. Maybe like the church's stance has changed on that since like that happened, because that was obviously like a while ago. I don't know. I would have to again look more into it, but that's why I guess it was like rough for Elizabeth to have to do that. But also I'm kind of like, maybe you should just let her. I mean, I don't know. He was like 15 years older than her, but she was an adult, so like,
yeah.
I don't know.
And something tells me that that's not the part that Elizabeth really cared about that much.
Yeah, it was the like, you're marrying a divorced man, and also it's gonna look bad for like the crown, you know. Seems a common theme with these people is that they're always very concerned with like appearance and like how they look to the world, you know.
That's kind of, I think that's like all they do, really.
And that's what, like, I guess because they're supposed to like set like the moral and like traditional standard for like society or whatever. Like, you're supposed to be someone you can like look up to as like a symbol of what like the perfect human is, which like,
guess what? You're doing a bad job.
Yeah, you suck. You're bad. And especially since like Queen Elizabeth was so like religious too. Right. And like you had fucking like $1 million like jewelry that you'd wear. Like, how is that like how does that like show like your religious like just, like, I don't know. Again, I get too into like the whole like Jesus said go sell all your shit.
Literally.
Like literally. Yeah.
Oh God.
Anyway, Queen Elizabeth II was the most traveled head of state, being the first reigning monarch to visit Australia and New Zealand. So she was at least getting around to the areas that she was, again, air quotes, ruling. And she also got around to some more places. But before we jump into that, you know who also is the first ruler to visit us at Remarks? And that's Anchor Podcasts.
All I could think of was the Beach Boys. I get around, get around,
True.
Get around. Beach Boys fuck.
Beach Boys do fuck. Yeah, no, they do fuck. I'm sure they fucked at the time too. Like,
oh yeah.
Are any of them alive still?
Yes.
I'm sure they still fuck.
Probably.
I would think so.
It's
I don't know.
the Beach Boys.
It is the Beach Boys. Yeah.
You know.
Like, you're gonna say, like, if I had the chance to fuck a Beach Boy, I feel like I'd hop on that. I'd hop on that. Anyway, yeah. Ads. I forgot our thing.
Taylor.
All right, we are so back.
So back.
We were just talking about funny cat names. Because everybody knows I have a cat named Moonshine.
Moonshine.
And we just want to hear your funny pet names.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have Tonks.
Tonks.
I'm pretty sure is the Harry Potter. Like
It
Harry
is
Potter
Harry
reference.
Potter.
Yeah.
Don't cancel me.
Is that? I mean, people would try to cancel you for that, but like, come on.
Yeah.
It's
Grow up.
fucking, yeah, it's
Grow
fine.
up.
We all like Harry Potter. We all read Harry Potter when we were fucking kids. Like,
Exactly.
when I was like a kid, my mom like read all the books to me.
Yeah, that's how I grew up as well.
Yeah, like she read them all.
I was like in preschool, and me and my sister would lay in bed, and my mom would read us the books.
Yeah, and they were fun
very
books
precious.
to read.
They
Yeah.
were.
Grew up with them, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. But anyway,
I personally want to name a cat Squidward.
that would be cute.
That's my dream cat name. I don't think that I will probably ever own a cat because the love of my life is allergic, unfortunately. But
Yeah. Squidward is my best friend in the world. We also very much love SpongeBob here at
love
Remarks.
SpongeBob. Oh yes, absolute SpongeBob stans.
Oh, 100%. Okay. During this time that the Queen had taken power, all the shit's, she's kind of in place. The Conservative Party of Britain, and I know, like, I don't know, because I think they have, like, a Conservative and, like, a Labour Party. I don't know all the shit about their party system. I wasn't about to fucking go through, like, 1,000 years of history to, like, figure out what the fuck's going on. But from the gist of it, the Conservative Party did not have an internal election process for appointing prime ministers. So they just had the Queen decide who would be in charge.
Oh, no.
Which, yeah, seems a little whack. She, of course, would use advice from her advisors, but this was in the 50s, and the Queen was making decisions on who should run the country. So I wasn't completely powerless at this time, like everyone says, And granted, this was 70 years ago. But in November of 1956, the British and French prime ministers, Anthony Eden and Guy Mollet, respectively, invaded Egypt to capture control of the Suez Canal. For obvious reasons, the people own the canal, you own a lot of transit. Philip, her husband, the husband of Queen Elizabeth, stated that she was not supportive of this move when they began to catch flack for the invasion. But Anthony Eden, the Prime Minister of Britain, said that she was in fact supportive, and then he resigned from his post 2 months later. So a little weird. And I don't know all the ins and outs of British politics,
the secret interworkings.
Yeah, I know how our politics works, and I feel like that'd be weird.
Yeah,
here. So
yeah, no, that's us for sure.
The Queen then appointed Harold Macmillan to take his place, because again, they didn't have a thing for electing them. She was criticized by the media and public for electing a leader based off the council of a small group of people, which, like, maybe don't have a fucking queen then if you...
Right, literally.
if
like,
you
yeah, what are you...
are mad about not having, like, an election.
You're criticizing her for your own, like, political system?
Like, okay, then fucking kick him out. Like,
exactly.
Stop having a queen. Have you ever tried that?
Would be like, oh, I'm mad because the president made an executive order. Well, that's what the president's allowed to do. I mean, I'm mad about it still, but, like...
I'm mad about it, but, like, we're also, like, trying to not have a president, I guess.
Well, yeah, us personally, but yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Like, yeah, I guess I get where the media is coming from for, like, criticizing her for it, but it's like,
but it's just kind
you
of
have a literal queen still, so I don't know. In 1965, the Conservative Party created a formal mechanism for electing a leader, which relieved the Queen of having to do so herself. So then she was no longer required to do that. As I was talking about before, Britain controlled a lot of the world for a long time, and there was a very big push in the 60s and 70s to decolonize Africa. This is something, of course, that I could write and we could do, like, multiple episodes on, just, like, basically how, like, what happened with the decolonization of Africa and what, like, has led to where Africa is in a lot of ways. But I guess, like, the gist of it, as with most nations, or colonizing nations do. They just kind of pulled out without setting up a proper infrastructure or helping a lot of the country get to a place where they didn't have like mass corruption and all this, like overthrow of everything.
Pretty classic.
And especially for ones like right after they'd exploited all their resources. So there were like these impoverished nations that just had no way of like providing anything for themselves. Like there's people, and again, we still see it to this day with a lot of African countries. Obviously, many issues in impoverished nations stem from the colonization days of, not only Britain, but there's France and Spain and all the ones that are around there. But so that kind of started to happen in the 60s and 70s. Elizabeth also toured Yugoslavia in October of 1972, which made her the first monarch to visit a communist country. Communism wasn't around much before she was the queen, so it kind of makes sense that she would be the first one to. She was the first one that really like had a chance to, I guess. I guess, like King George VI could have like visited the Soviet Union, but I don't know. Makes sense. There is a funny or like wild story. It's kind of a side tangent. It's not really about the queen, but
please.
After Yugoslavia became a communist nation, they of course outlawed having a monarchy of their own. So like they were like, no, we don't have a fucking Yugoslavian king and queen anymore.
Right.
Because communism. So Winston Churchill, being the fucking weird ass dude he was, being Winston Churchill, declared the room at the Claridge's Hotel in London, some fucking hotel in London.
British name.
Fucking British names. He declared the room that the Yugoslavian royalty baby, that wasn't really royalty anymore, but like would have been, was born in. He declared that room to be Yugoslavian territory for the day, so the baby could be named king in the room, like on Yugoslavian soil, quote unquote. And granted, that is just a rumor, but like I could see fucking Winston Churchill
them doing some like crazy shit like that.
What the like that? I don't even know if you can do that as like a prime minister or whatever.
Know.
Like
Winston Churchill was a trip.
He's a fucking guy, dude.
He is a guy.
As a person that exists, baby. Yeah, fucking insane. In 1981, while Elizabeth was riding her horse, 6 shots rained down on her from close range. It was discovered later that the shots were blanks, so nobody worry. She was okay. But this came only a few years after the 1979 assassination of her relative and in-law, Lord Mountbatten. Not her husband, of course, but like in-law. Excuse me. By the Provisional Irish Republic Army, or IRA. Which leads us right into some discussion about Ireland.
Oh, good. I was hoping you would.
Yeah. So we'll be talking a little bit about the Troubles.
Fantastic.
Which is hard because there's a lot that goes into everything. There's a long history of Britain fucking with Ireland, pretty much. And many of the motivations of the Irish are purely based on the long traditions of hating the British. So, like, even though, again, as I was kind of saying before, like, Queen Elizabeth II didn't, like, do anything too gnarly to Ireland. But, like, she still, like, upheld this system that, like, had oppressed and fucked with the Irish for so long.
Right.
You know, like, you saw all the fucking TikToks of people being, like, juiced as hell when she fucking died. Like, all the Irish people. Like, again, I don't think that they didn't, like, particularly have any beef with her. Yeah. But it's just, like, what she, like, stood for, like, what she was the face of, you know?
Exactly. Like, I feel like it's, like, how you and I feel about, not, like, the president, but just, like, the institution.
Yeah, exactly.
In general. Like, it doesn't matter who holds it. It's, like, fuck you,
it's wrong.
Regardless.
Exactly, yeah. Like, it's bad, the whole thing.
I don't care if, like, Jeff Bezos dies and a new person becomes CEO or CFO, whatever, of Amazon. You still own Amazon.
You still own the...
It's this corruptive thing that's existed. So, yeah, of course I'm going to do a jig when fucking Queen Elizabeth croaks.
Exactly,
bro.
Yeah. It's the same. I mean, it's just like, you know, like, again, it's not like all the police officers that are police are like bad people.
Right.
But, like the system that they're a part of is an oppressive system based on racism and sexism and all the things that make America what it is. So it's like she was the figurehead of that institution. So that's kind of where it comes from, I guess. Mm-hmm. Ireland gained its independence from Britain in 1921, except the 6 counties of Northern Ireland, which remained under British control and do to this day. As far as I can tell, Northern Ireland is made up predominantly Protestants, which would keep them more in line with the Church of England. So that's a big reason why they still have control in that area. Mm-hmm. But because of this, it also caused the Irish Catholics in that area to be at a social disadvantage, causing many of the Irish Catholics in that region to be treated as lesser citizens or not get the same opportunities as Protestants.
Right.
And like, it's silly. I mean, it's silly to us, and it's probably really silly to us in America because like we don't have this kind of like Protestant Catholic beef that goes on. But like I mean, people fought fucking wars over this shit,
exactly.
Like in Europe. So like this is like gnarly because to me it's like you both are just pulling from the same 1,000-year-old book.
Totally,
like you're reading from the same fucking thing here. Like, but yeah, like this is like beef central over there.
Exactly. No, it's extremely serious.
Yeah.
Also, to interject quickly, have you watched Dairy Girls?
No.
It's so great. It's this show about like Ireland in the 90s, and it talks about a lot of this. And it focuses on like these like 5, I think, teenage girls, and it's just so funny. And
someone was fucking telling me about this.
It's very good.
And then there's like a guy that like goes,
and he's like,
he has to go to like the women's school or something for some reason. I don't know.
And he's like from like the English part of Ireland or whatever. Anyway, it's great. Give it a watch. Very cute, very funny.
Girls.
And then also talks about a couple years.
A couple years.
It's new.
Okay, word. Well, hell yeah. Yeah, check that out, listeners.
Give it a watch.
Give it a watch. I'm
Phoebe,
terrible.
Always with the TV show suggestions.
So true. I'm terrible at watching anything that's not like a YouTube video on Silent Hill 4. But however, you should watch it, and I will try to watch it too.
You would enjoy.
Anyway, hold me to it, listeners.
Please continue.
No, I love the tangents. Yeah. So on top of probably like 100 more factors that you can get into when you look into the Troubles, is why the IRA would continue to use violence to push forward the unification of Ireland from British control. In 1970, they began what was called the Long War. Between 1969 and 1994, the IRA killed about 1,800 people. 600 or so of those were civilians. And again, this is just like terrorism that had happened throughout it. Mm-hmm. And again, like, I mean, it's hard because like with any group and with any kind of like resistance, you're gonna some people who call them terrorists, some people who call them freedom fighters. It's all the one person's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, or whatever. Like. Just depends on how you look at it. But a lot of this, again, is stemming from the fact that Britain had fucked with them for a long time. They still sent in, throughout this period, they've sent in their troops to Northern Ireland to break up these like disputes that were happening. And though Queen Elizabeth II did have a major role in creating peace between the two nations, Northern Ireland is still under British control. And many Irish people have not forgotten the 800 plus years of colonization and oppression that was endured. So again, some of it is just purely based off of like the stories, the history of like what Britain has done in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, I always recommend Behind the Bastards, but
great one.
There's the one where he talks about the Irish potato famine that's not an actual famine at all. If you like listen, if you listen to that and you like see the death toll of like what happened and like what Britain did, in Ireland, you're like, oh yeah, I'd be pretty mad too for like a while.
For many hundreds of years.
Like when you wipe out like over 50% of a population of people, like
exactly.
It's
and then
crazy.
name it a potato famine, even though it was a potato steal everything that you have.
Yeah, even though it was you're a landlord and you're making them give all their crops to you that aren't potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of like at least a brief overview of like the Troubles.
Mm-hmm.
In the 1950s, Elizabeth was known as the fairy tale queen because of her high popularity with the common folk, but moving into the later decades of the 80s and 90s, her popularity sank to an all-time low. Under the pressure of public opinion and scrutiny, she began paying income tax for the first time during this time.
Shit.
And opened Buckingham Palace to the public, I guess for like tours and different things like that. Like, you used to not be able to go in there.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I guess so. That's what it.
That's
what
so
it said.
fucking rude. Like I can't even like take a peek. Can't even peep inside.
Yeah, I guess it's like.
Okay, here's this palace you're literally paying for, this citizen.
$billion palace, and it's like you can't look.
You can't
inside.
even come in.
No, you can't even. I mean,
can't even do like a school field trip.
We don't really like the gross, icky, poor people being in here. Like, can you get like shower a few times first? Like, yeah. I don't wash the poor smell off of you. A recent hit in her popularity was her son Andrew being shown to have associations with the one and only Jeff Epp. So that was a big issue or hot topic. On the Sunday Times Rich List of 2020, Elizabeth's wealth was estimated at 350 million euros, making her the 372nd richest person in the UK for doing literally nothing.
Yeah.
The Crown's estate in total, which is not personally owned by Elizabeth, but like the Crown, is estimated at 14.3 billion euros.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The royal family owns 263,000 acres of land across the UK and another 66,500 in Wales.
Shit.
So that is how much land they personally own, which is where a lot of their income comes from because they can like mine it for minerals and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure they grow food on it and things. So they're like basically giant landlords, really. That's like what they mainly are. A quote from royal.uk, the official website of the royal family, states the role of the monarchy is this. As head of state, the monarch undertakes constitutional and representational duties, which have developed over 1,000 years of history. In addition to these state duties, the monarch has a less formal role as head of nation. The sovereign acts as a focus for national identity, unity, and pride, gives a sense of stability and continuity, officially recognizes success and excellence, and supports the idea of voluntary service. So that's, according to themselves, basically them saying they don't do anything but like, look a certain way.
Cool.
That's, yeah.
You said it yourself. You said the thing.
You said the quiet part loud. The Crown does in fact still hold the power to remove a prime minister if they see fit, although that has not been exercised in years, as well as technically they lead the Church of England. And again, I say technically because they can technically do all these things, but again, I think it'd be a very crazy situation to see them actually do any of that or like make like a church decree or like take a prime minister out because like, again, that's not, they want to still like hold this weird air of like democracy and like
exactly
we're a constitutional monarchy or whatever. And it's like that would be.
And I just feel like they're too like lazy. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
they're I have a banquet to go to.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Like they don't really like care that much.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they're too busy like doing weird shit that like ends up on TMZ.
Exactly.
I don't know. But yeah, that's a little brief history of the Queen.
Beautiful.
And some of her things. And I kind of got into like Ireland there because I just went down a rabbit hole and was like...
No, it's good. I mean, that was like something I think that a lot of people were seeing, like Irish celebration when the Queen did fucking finally kick the bucket.
Well,
So yeah, I'm sure our listeners have been curious as to
yeah, and like I knew like that, you know, Northern or Britain was in Northern Ireland, and like that was a whole thing, but I didn't really know like why it was like such an like a contentious issue, at least aside from like I know Britain fucked with Ireland, but like
yeah.
again, like there was like all these terrorist attacks and like assassinations that happened all throughout the like, you know, 70s, 80s, and 90s by the IRA. So it was it was a whole thing.
Indeed.
Indubitably.
Indubitably.
Would you like to take a quick break and then jump into it?
Break. let's go make some beans on toast, innit?
All right, laddies. Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
That was pretty Irish.
I was trying to go for Irish.
That was good. You did a good job.
I can say that phrase only.
Laddies.
All right, laddies.
Anyway. Ads.
Ads.
Mm-hmm. What's up?
Howdy.
I got nervous.
It's my own show, but
I froze up.
It happens.
So as Taylor had kind of mentioned, pedophilia, Prince Andrew, the Queen,
the works.
The works. So per usual, you know, I'm our current events representative here, and I meant to get into a bit of like more overview of current events, but me being me, of course, I rabbit holed. We all be rabbit holing over it. We do. ABRH. Always be rabbit holing. Do you know where that joke comes from? Because I say that like always be whatever and then give like the abbreviation, the like AB whatever. Where does that come from? I got it from Behind the Bastards. Okay, maybe it is from that I heard it from. Because I think, well, he said it about a lot of things, but he does say ABH a lot, always be Hubbarding, like L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah. I don't know. Now I'm like, what is the origin? I don't know where that like specific phrase comes from though. Because I use like that. I don't know. Anyway, guys, folks at home. What silly phrases do you like to use? Comment down below. Yes. So many of us are familiar with the Jeffrey Epstein case, but did you know that the royal family themselves were woven into the sinister Epstein web as well? I mean, I did, but... You did, because you mentioned it. Yeah, I mentioned it. So here we are. And we did, if you haven't, listeners, we did a whole Epskis on the Epstees. It's called the Epstein-sode? Is that what we called it? The Jeffrey Epstisode or something like that. Yes, that's what it was. Hilarious. Yeah. Yes. Also, you know, per usual, if you want a more deep dive and long-winded talk through of the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, TrueAnon is one of our fave podcasts over here, and they go into deep detail about the Jeffrey Epstein case. That's like where they started. That's right? That was like their whole beginning thing was after the mysterious death of Jeffrey Epstein. And then they get into all the things. It's bread and butter, so to speak. Absolutely. delicious pedophilic bread and butter. Pedophilic elite. I mean, because it's like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff is like what the QAnon people are like scared of. I know. But they also like, I don't know. I feel like they don't care as much because it was like conservative capitalist motherfuckers that were involved and not Hillary Clinton only. So. Exactly. They just ignore the whole part of where it's like not just Democrats doing this, and it's also like every rich person that's existed ever. But anyway, which I do think we went on a bit of a rant about that in that episode as well, because QAnon pisses me off so bad for multiple reasons. But one of my big ones being like, your weird conspiracy, it's right here and it's real. If you would just like hate like Donald Trump as much as you hate Hillary Clinton, or even just like a little bit, then we could get somewhere. We could really get somewhere, yeah. And not to keep plugging all our old episodes, but in the cult month last year, so the October episodes from last year, there was one that I did on QAnon. Yes. So you can go check that out too if you want. Indeed. And you should. We should plug. This is our own goddamn show. It's my show. I'll plug what I want. Yeah, exactly. All right. So getting into it. Virginia Roberts Jeffrey, one of the most well-known victims of the Epstein child sex slavery operation, was just 16 years old when she first met Jeffrey Epstein. Working as a spa attendant at the Mar-a-Lago Resort in Palm Beach, Florida. Yes, that one. She was approached by the she-devil herself, Ghislaine Maxwell, and offered a job to be trained as a professional massage therapist. Virginia, who was in a very rough patch of her life, was excited by this opportunity to make more money for herself and possibly break the chain of unfortunate events that had been plaguing her ever since she was 7 years old, which unfortunately she was she was raped. I don't want to use the term sexually assaulted, just she was raped at 7. Mm-hmm. So literally, I mean, it's like from the beginning of her life, literally, this kind of shit was happening.
When she was
just
fucked up. Teenagers are children, but she was a actual little child. Yeah. And call it what it is. She was raped. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately for Virginia, as we all now know, this was the beginning of some of the most horrific experiences she would ever endure. In 2001, at 17 years old, a year after being poached by Ghislaine, Virginia met Prince Andrew. She was introduced to him on a trip with Ghislaine and Epstein in London. They met at Ghislaine's home and then attended a private nightclub called Tramp. Just like, just say it like it is, huh?
Yeah, it's just on the head there. Yeah. On the nail?
Yeah.
Nail on the head?
Hit the nail on the head.
I don't fucking... Hit the... On the nose is the term I think.
On the nose, hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, there it
is.
You
hit the nail on the head of the nose on the nail.
It's nose.
And it's there, and it's hidden.
And, yeah. We're good at this.
Yes,
we do this
absolutely.
every week.
We're eloquent. So after the nightclub, Virginia was told by Ghislaine that she, quote, had to do for Andrew what she does for Jeffrey. You can ascertain what that's supposed to mean. Later that year, Virginia would be raped 2 other times by Andrew, once at Little St. James, the private island that Epstein owned, and again in New York City. Flight logs from the extremely conspicuously named Lolita Express jet.
I fucking can't, dude.
Like,
again,
what a fucking piece of shit
like
dick.
He just knew, and that's, oh my god. Okay, yeah, we'll go on the same rants we've gone on so many times.
That's true.
But he named it the Lolita Express.
Fuck you so hard, you fucking.
And he probably thought he was so fucking smug about it.
He thought he was so clever,
so fucking slick. Like, God,
I want to be the one that goes into the prison cell and kills him. I wish it was me.
I wish I was there. God.
Yeah. Flight logs from the fucking Lolita Express jet prove that both Prince Andrew and Virginia Roberts were at those locations at the time that Miss Jeffrey had alleged. Photos featuring both Andrew and Virginia, as well as a photo that sparked international controversy featuring Prince Andrew with his arm around Virginia at the London home of Maxwell when Virginia was just 17 years old.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. A whole lot of rape there.
Yeah. Which, by the way, this will come into play later, but that photo literally was a developed photo from one of those little scroll click cameras that you can only get that film developed, and it printed out and it says Kodak on the back. Just want to really hammer in how real this photo is. Hard copy of this photo. Okay. Anyway, it would be another photo that would surface later in 2010 of Epstein and Prince Andrew taking a stroll in Central Park that would lead to the lawsuit from Miss Jeffrey on August 9th, 2021. The reveal of the pair's ongoing relationship, despite Epstein's conviction by a Florida court in 2008, pulled Virginia to file the lawsuit against Andrew and reveal the truth of who he is. I do also just want to point out that it took 20-ish year or 10 years about to get this lawsuit going. That is how difficult this shit is to do. It wasn't like Virginia was just sitting there going, well, I guess I'll do this now.
And it seems
she was working on it the whole time.
And especially because again, it's easy to get a trillion lawyers to cover your tracks when you're fucking rich ass billionaire.
Exactly.
When you're a massage therapist, you gotta really work to get your case together with one lawyer,
exactly,
who's gonna ask you to do get all of your info together.
And a case against some of the most high profile individuals in the world.
Exactly, it's crazy.
So anyway, I just want to
throw that out
Nobody
there.
nobody come after Virginia. Which I don't think anybody is, but anyway, I digress. So a day after the filing of the lawsuit on August 10th, 2021, Andrew fled to the Queen's summer home, Balmoral Castle in Aberdeenshire, Scotland. Sorry if I'm pronouncing any of that wrong. The same day, the Queen's lawyers sent a vaguely threatening letter to local press warning them to abstain from taking photographs of the family while they are at Balmoral, reminding them that Balmoral is, quote, a private estate, and whilst there, the royal family and their guests have a reasonable expectation of privacy. The memo goes on to say that the newspaper, which had not been named by the Daily Beast article that I got these quotes from, had been, quote, asked to ensure that any material, photographic or otherwise, that we may intend to publish is carefully reviewed before publication and in accordance with recent judicial guidance on this topic. Staffers who may have published anything on this matter, including on social media, are asked to contact the paper's legal department before taking any action. So, yeah, pretty vaguely threatening memo that was sent from the Queen's, like, team of lawyers when Andrew was, like, going and hiding in her summer home.
Very funny, yeah. It's just like, don't take any fucking pictures of
my pedophile son.
And if you do, fucking contact the legal team right now.
Yeah,
like it's, yeah.
Yeah. An editor from the unnamed newspaper went on to say that they had never received a warning of that magnitude before, and that the release of this memo, one day after the lawsuit was filed and coming the day Andrew had arrived at the estate, was extremely sus.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Mm-hmm. The editor went on to speculate that this memo was released not only so that photos of the Queen accompanying Andrew could be avoided, but more so that photos of Andrew being served with papers from the lawsuit could be kept under wraps. I don't know if he was ever actually served, like, hard copy papers or not, although it was, like, big enough of a case, and he's, like, large enough of, like, a public entity that I think that that's something that they would have wanted to do because that's so salacious. And then obviously the Queen, like, and we're gonna get more into it of how she just, like, bends over backwards for this fucking kid. But you know, it's like literally the day after this lawsuit is filed for literally raping an underage girl. She's like, oh, let's go to the castle in Scotland. I'll come with you and hang out with my pedophile son. Bitch.
Yeah, truly. And I mean, yeah, it's like, and I mean, it's just classic rich people stuff, right? Like it's always just favors and nepotism and, well, you're too, you know, we're too high profile, we're too rich, we're too whatever, fucking insert the bougie, insert the fucking, insert whatever, to like face consequences. So I'm going to cover you because, again, we're too rich to actually face any kind of consequence.
Exactly.
In our current system that's built to hate poor people and reward rich people.
Yep.
So, sorry, rant over.
No, love it. I love it. This type of protection from the Queen to a pedophilic son who, even if he was able to evade the allegations against him, still led a long-term close friendship with the largest pedophile on the planet, is a glaring look at who she truly is and what she's willing to do to protect her favorite child. A child whose reputation has been dangling by a thread since his teenage years and his multiple questionable love affairs that earned him the nickname Randy Andy, a nickname that doesn't do too well to prove his innocence.
Oh, that's true. And again, I would like to reiterate that this woman is, in fact, the leader of the Church of England.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And is just defending her pedophile son because... I mean, I guess that's no different than most churches, but...
Yeah, true.
Yikes. Jinx, dude.
Oh, cute. Also, just to note this, I didn't write it down, but I was reading just about, like, what a fucking douche Prince Andrew is, and there was, like, one time that they were, like, watching, a source, like, you know, sent this. They were watching some show... and it had, like, just normal people on it. And it was, like, literally Andrew, like, points to the TV and is like, commoners.
God, you fucking dork.
Yeah. And then they also, what did they call him? I think that his other nickname was, like, Air Miles Andy because he literally would fly a plane from, like, England to like fucking somewhere else in the UK when he literally could take like a train.
He pulled a Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And when like the, I don't know, advisors were like, hey, maybe you could take like public transportation, he was like, I'm a child of the sovereign. Fuck you, bro.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
It's so, yeah, I mean.
He's like literally like textbook, like cartoon, like rich.
Yeah.
Fucking, he's like Remy Bucks Aplenty from fucking Fairly Odd Parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how out of touch do you fucking have to be? Like,
exactly.
And I don't know. I mean.
A train.
And like, yeah, I don't know. You're a dork and you are a rapist that raped underage girls. So fuck you. I hope you rot in hell.
I hope you're riding public transportation right to hell.
It's true. That's probably his hell, is just having to like continuously ride public transport to and from a location.
Yep. So the case against Andrew has left a large stain on the already sullied tapestry of the royal family. But Queen Elizabeth, may the devil burn her soul, was on a quest to cover up every last piece of evidence that had bubbled to the surface. In order to avoid a trial in the U.S., which would have caused the case to explode even further, she, and reportedly Prince Charles as well, pushed Andrew to settle with Geoffrey out of court. The push for a settlement, Geoffrey meaning Virginia Geoffrey.
Yeah,
I realized about halfway through writing this that that's also the dude's first name, so...
Mm-hmm. But we're talking, Virginia Geoffrey.
Virginia, Miss Geoffrey.
Suing Mrs. And suing Prince Andrew.
Yes.
Got it.
The push for a settlement is awful for multiple reasons, but mostly because this cost Miss Geoffrey the small amount of justice that she could have gotten in court. But it also costs us, the public, the knowledge of whether Andrew, a man with loads of money and power, is actually guilty. Which, like, yes, he 100% absolutely is, and that's undeniable. But regardless.
Yeah, I mean, and settlements are so hard because, like, I get why people do them, because like you're being offered all this money, it's gonna save you the hassle and like the heartache of reliving these experiences.
Exactly.
Like, I totally get why victims take settlements.
Yeah.
But it is hard for that reason of like, no, these people should be publicly
totally
put on trial and like shamed for what they've done. You know?
Yeah.
And again,
saying this, like, no blame towards Virginia in any way. I know. But yeah, like, obviously, that would cost her the time of getting lawyers, the money of getting lawyers, hoping that she actually wins the case. Because you look at what happened with the Maxwell case, like, yeah, she was convicted, but like the amount of things that were put to the wayside with that, like, anyway. Yeah,
it's hard.
It is. The other missing piece that could have come from a trial is the reveal of who else has been involved with this international child sex slavery operation. Yeah. So, people will never be held accountable for this, which is great.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And again, if you can buy your way out of justice, then like you can buy your way out of anything. It's like what that fucking like meme that someone put up a while ago. It's like, if the cost for breaking the law is a fine, then the law only applies to poor people.
Yep, exactly.
That's how it is, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Fucking sucks.
Exactly. So the Queen reportedly covered all of Andrew's legal expenses that cost only God knows how much and allowed him to settle out of court. A settlement which the Queen also covered a large amount of, to the tune of £12 million, which is $14 million in U.S. money.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And that was only a part of the settlement, and that's not even we don't even know what the legal expenses were cost.
Yeah.
But I think it was something, his lawyer was like $1,000 or like $600 an hour or something crazy.
That's fucking insane. Yeah. Dude.
So, we can ascertain
that this was a fucking pricey rape case.
Yeah. And according to a Mercury News article, the settlement also called for Andrew to, quote, make a substantial, quote, quote, donation to Virginia Geoffrey's charity, in support of victims' rights. In a statement filed in court, Andrew pledged to demonstrate his regret for his association with Epstein by supporting the fight against the evils of sex trafficking and by supporting its victims. He also commended the bravery of Miss Geoffrey and other survivors in standing up for themselves and others. Fuck you.
Fuck you, dude.
Fuck
you.
You. Fuck you.
Yeah, this guy sucks.
I hate you. Which this is all just so fucking ironic because previous to the settlement, Andrew had claimed that he had never even met Miss Jeffrey, despite a literal photo of the two of them together. And Andrew's legal team saying that Miss Jeffrey's lawsuit was baseless and that she was only coming after Andrew in the hopes that she would receive a large payout.
Well, I mean, you did a settlement out of court. If you really thought that, then why didn't it go to trial? Mm-hmm. Why didn't you fucking take it to trial and then you wouldn't have had to pay her all this money?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Funny that you were all fine to settle out of court when like the lawsuit got heavy.
Yeah, when you realized you wouldn't win a court case, maybe.
You piece of shit, dude.
Bitch. Anyway, and what I was going off about earlier was like the photo of the two of them together. Literally, it has like Andrew's arm around her waist, and it was a hard copy photo. He tried to claim that it was like photoshopped. He's like, well, that's me in that photo, but I don't remember my hand being in that position or ever being in that location, and I don't know who this woman is, and blah blah blah. And it's like the photo was
it's like a disposable camera.
Yes, it was taken on a disposable camera and developed. It's not like you can't Photoshop that. I mean, I guess you could if you really tried hard, but it's not. It was a real picture. Anyway, fuck him.
Fuck him.
The case was highly upsetting to the British public for several reasons, but one of the biggest being that the British public is basically responsible for funding the royal family. The money for Andrew's legal fees and settlement came out of a personal fund of the royal family, leaving the public to question why they even need to be paying taxes to the royal family at all. 102.4 million pounds in the last tax year, to be exact.
Yeah.
If the royal family has a personal fund that they are able to shell more than 12 million pounds from, then why is the public being made responsible to pay for the 10-year refurbishment plan of Buckingham Palace? A refurbishment plan that increased the taxes 17% this last tax year.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck you! A palace that wasn't even always open to the public to go look at the inside of.
You couldn't even see it.
God.
It's fucking crazy. And maybe I should have looked into it more because I know with like the Queen paying taxes on certain things, like I don't know if that was maybe like some of her own like properties and like businesses, like maybe if she runs certain ones, but like I guess they still get paid money from the state, so from like the state and the tax dollars of the people there. So very cool that it's cool to fund, and you can kind of see the direct correlation, because like here in America we pay for like all the fucking military coups and all these socialist countries,
bailouts of shit,
bailouts and stuff. So I mean, we're also guilty, but it's cool that you can see the direct line of like tax dollars to royal family to Prince Andrew's case.
It's just it's very blatant there. It's like, you literally get to see like the bougie elite like wearing a literal crown that you paid for. Like it's just it's a little in your fucking face.
And like what is, and because I remember watching this video about like why Britain still has a like royalty and stuff, and like a lot of people just like it makes them feel superior to like other nations, and I guess I don't really get that, but like but I mean, I guess I can see that. Yeah. But it's like you could have more of your money. Yeah. and not have a queen and a rapist prince.
Yeah. Ugh. The public also pays for garden parties, reception, and travel. Just this last year, the Duke and Duchess of Cornwall took a 226,383 pound trip to the Caribbean.
Oh, jeez.
So, thanks, guys. I wish I could go on a $226,383 trip.
Oh, I would love that.
That'd be awesome. To the Caribbean? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I'd bring all the homies.
But I'm not a Duke and Duchess, so.
True. You don't have the British population paying for your vacations.
Exactly. Rats. Missed out on that one.
Yeah. You could try marrying into the royal family.
I could. Let's see.
I don't know enough about who's single
and
who's not.
Definitely don't want to be with Andrew for obvious
absolutely.
reasons. So.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is available.
I don't know either.
Not to royalty shame, but none of them are really that attractive. So.
I mean, I'm sure there's like some incest and inbreeding in their line.
There's gotta be.
Cause isn't that like why there's like a lot of the royal family has that fucking disease that doesn't have let your blood clot? What is that called? Like hemophilia or something like that.
I think that's correct.
Hemophilia?
Hemophilia.
Hemophilia. I think that's why they have like a lot of them have that disease is because there's like a lot of history of inbreeding.
I mean, the queen's husband was her cousin.
Yeah.
So, there's that.
Cool.
The Queen supported Andrew's layabout life prior to the reveal of his child rape allegations by housing him at Buckingham Palace, giving him a tax-free £323,000 allowance, and allowing him to represent and make decisions for the British government, despite being a total wanker.
It was a little Australian, but I guess it's all the same.
Yeah. Also, I wish that I could have a $323,000 allowance every year. That was also tax free. That would be really sick.
323,000.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's like rich people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the conversion rate, but I mean, I assume it's pretty wealthy over there too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially just like an allowance for like not like. At least rich people here have to like work, at least somewhat work. I'm not saying billionaires don't work.
Yeah. But yeah, he doesn't do fucking shit.
Do fucking anything. Like it's like if you're like a tech dude who like works in an industry and you make $300,000 a year, it's like at least you're going to work. Like Prince Andrew doesn't fucking do anything.
All he does is be a rapist. So
all he knows is be a rapist and eat hot chips and lie.
Yeah, and lie. Lots of lying.
Lots of it.
In 2019, Andrew gave an interview about Jeffrey Epstein after his death, in which Andrew failed to show any sort of sympathy for the victims of Epstein, and as we would later find out, victims of Andrew himself. The most negative thing Andrew could muster to say about Epstein and was that his actions were unbecoming.
Oh God, yeah, very. And it's just what a smug asshole.
No, he is.
This dude.
I fucking hate him so goddamn much.
Like, just. Talk about a person who's just like never like I don't know, like if you were to like meet him in like a back alley, I feel like he'd shit his pants. Like he would, like if he like there's like if he like walked into like the Twilight Lounge in Salt Lake City, Utah, he'd like throw up. Like
yeah. Like if that man had to like touch dirt, like I think his hand would like wither.
Yeah, it would like he's
away.
He's like never like been exposed to like the elements, so it's like he like goes outside and it like shrivels up.
Like, oh God.
Oh no.
God. Following this interview, the Queen claimed that she was to strip Andrew of his royal duties. Actually, she said that she would give him permission to step back.
Give him that's far from strip him from his royal duties.
Yeah.
That's do you wanna?
Exactly. And the Queen didn't deliver on this promise to remove Andrew from royal duties, including military instruction and governmental decisions, until 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how
like
long?
2 years.
2 years after?
Mm-hmm. Was finally like, okay, let's do something about this. Yeah. The Queen has continually protected her shitty children, most frequently and scandalously Andrew, and it's clear that she would have done anything to keep the family name as polished as the jewels in her genocidal crown.
That was a good line.
Many British citizens were outraged at the choices made by the Crown to fund Andrew's protection and took to Twitter to share their anger. Quote, "The royal family have, at every stage of these shabby, squalid, dishonorable proceedings, protected, covered up, and ultimately paid for Andrew Windsor's behavior. His disgrace is their disgrace," tweeted a resident of Edinburgh, Scotland.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
My dog's licking her leg.
Oh, Tonks.
Another one. Quote, "Since the royal family can find $12 million from personal funds to settle, then surely they can afford to support themselves without using our taxes. I don't have $12 million in my bank, but I'm paying for the upkeep of people that do."
Mm-hmm. I mean, there you
Fucking go off.
And I mean, and again, it's like, it's just so blatant there, but like we do the same thing.
We
like,
do.
We fucking fund government bailouts to and subsidies to big companies for billionaires who use loopholes to not ever pay taxes.
Exactly.
Fucking at Donald Trump. Like, it's, so
who then
like,
become the president.
Who
so
then become
great.
the president, which
Great,
is
great,
great.
great.
But it is just, it's funny how blatant it is.
It's pretty like in your face. You kind of literally cannot ignore it. And a last one. Anyone defending the royal family for anything at all after this hit me up. I'll tell you why you're a brain-dead moron who excuses them leeching off the British public and excusing alleged sex offenders. From at AdamDav92 in Liverpool.
Hot fucking damn.
Go off, Adam.
Go off, Adam from Liverpool.
Yeah. So there you go. Royal family sucks. Prince Andrew's a rapist. And the Queen literally paid to protect him.
Paid to protect, not mother.
Not mother. It's not giving mother.
Not giving mother, no. Giving piece of shit, actually.
Yeah, it's giving like really weird, creepy, horrible relationship with your son.
Mm-hmm.
And
love it.
And you suck, and I'm glad you're dead.
And I'm so glad you are no longer
Finally,
alive.
at 96.
70 fucking years, dude.
That's
like,
so crazy.
Well, she's like the longest reigning monarch or something like that. Like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know if like...
Which I think it's like, if a person can be in power and, you know, take that definition in whatever way you want, but for 70 years, I think maybe bad idea. Maybe those kind of things don't happen. Maybe God, quote unquote, doesn't ordain our leaders.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe leaders are a bad idea.
Maybe leaders. Catch you on the wrong side of guillotine.
It's true.
I'll tell
once.
you that much. Taylor said it once, he'll say it again.
I'll say it again, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just like, because I mean, and like you'd think like there's a reason why I'm sure with like with the prime ministers and everything. Again, I don't know too much about British politics, but it's like they probably have term limits,
right?
And we have term limits for like, you know, and it doesn't always. I mean, it still is like fucking a broken system. But like the reason why that everybody agrees that's a good idea is that you shouldn't be able to rule or have that much power for 70 years.
No,
you know?
Like this is why we look back on like empires and we go, oh, that was bad.
That was not
That
good.
wasn't a good thing because it's a bad idea.
Dictators who are in power until they die. Bad.
Yeah. Which cough cough looking at the Supreme Court here, but you know.
That as well.
Like again, I don't think that a life appointmentship should ever be a thing.
Yeah, no, for sure not.
It's just a really stupid, bad idea. So,
and you know, and politics are fucking terrible.
That's true.
I hate them, but but it's all, you know, and again, it's just all about like who you know, who you're friends with.
Oh yeah.
Who your fucking son is, who your mom is. Like it's all
who
fucking
your cousin husband is.
What was that fucking tweet that was like, everybody needs to be like generous to the Queen? People lost a wife, a daughter, a cousin, and a great woman today, and I feel really bad for that man, or something like that. It's very funny.
Oh god. Yeah. If you're watching House of Dragon, there was this whole tweet that was like, don't flirt with your uncle at your wedding to your cousin.
Amazing.
Great. Yeah, it's almost like, you know, Game of Thrones is so fun. I wish monarchies were real.
Yeah, I wish this shit was actually real. Yeah, I mean, and for what it's worth too, like Game of Thrones, I feel like does at least semi-realistically. I know it's not the most realistic show, but like at least gives you like a window into like why monarchies can be bad, you know, like, because, you know, there's some of the things that happen on there, like, aren't too far-fetched. Like, you think of, like, the worst characters in Game of Thrones, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, like, again, what was I saying? King Henry the fucking fifth or whatever?
Right.
Like, he was fucking insane and, like, murdered a ton of his wives. Like,
Yep.
Like,
beheaded them bitches.
Yeah, because they wouldn't give him fucking sons.
God.
Like, so that shit existed.
Yeah, it's based off of something, you know.
True.
So
yeah, what is it? Art imitates life.
Yeah,
life imitates
art.
Art
Imitates art. Art
Something
imitates
like
life.
Whatever the fuck it is.
Life finds a way.
True. Life finds a sleigh.
So true, Jeff Goldblum.
So true.
So sexy.
But yeah, I think that's all we had for you.
Yeah. So there you are.
Hit the P zone though.
Highway to the plug-in zone. Check us out on Instagram. I don't know why I'm singing so much this episode.
Yeah,
Sorry,
singy, silly mood
for your ears, everyone. Check our Instagram at Remarks Podcast. I'll post some fucking pictures of this old ass bitch.
For sure.
And her nonce ass son. Check out our TikTok of the same handle at Remarks Podcast. Taylor, where can I tweet?
You can tweet at us at RemarksPod on Twitter.com. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And you can check out my music if you'd like. It is Taylor Lacey on Spotify or wherever you listen to music.
Some great songs about why monarchs should die.
Exactly, yeah. If you like this, you'll like that. And of course, as always, thank you to our corporate overlords at Circle Pit Radio.
Always.
Who
bowing down.
Yeah, our super bougie corporate overlords who we have meetings in their living room.
I'm like, they would be mad if they heard us talking like this.
I know they get the joke.
We know you guys know that we know you're of the people.
We love you. It's just we're just joshing you. We're just joshing you right now.
Oh God! And please check out the other podcasts at Circle Pit Radio. They've got some great shit. Fear of the Year, which is going through like horror movies throughout the years and kind of the development of horror movies. That one's super great. Wrecked, all the fucking other ones.
Yeah, it's fun. They're again, like I feel
that
like
Bites, where they talk about like fun nerd shit.
Oh yeah. That one I've been needing to check out.
That one's great as well.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely go and give them a listen because good stuff.
Good stuff, and we love them.
True. Anyway.
And our patrons.
Oh, I almost forgot.
Hello, not our precious patrons. Thank y'all for subscribing to our Patreon.
Patron.
That was really hard to get out of my mouth for some reason. We're about to go record another hilarious bonus episode for you right this very moment. If you want some lighter-hearted content, give that a check out. And thank you to our patrons: Andrew Vass,
Justin Vass,
Tere Soltero,
and Emily Doran.
You guys are the greatest, and we love you.
Boy, do we.
And yeah, there you go.
I think that is everything.
Fantastic. Okay.
Finally got there.
We got
boys.
it. Woo. Well, thank you for listening, and
Love you. Bye.